tap the mic without moving it too much, just to make sure. Yep, it's working.
Okay.
All right. And we are rolling.
Okay. So tell us how many months you've been doing the praying through the Psalms, and then what surprised you about the experience?
I have been praying through the Psalms. This is my third month. I was called into Pastor Boone's office the end of January, and I wondered why I was being called into his office. And he challenged me to take the challenge to read through the Psalms starting February 1st, reading 5 Psalms a day. So I read through them in February, through them in March, and I've started again in April. And I think the thing that has surprised me the most is that when you read something, there's a difference between reading and praying the Psalms. So praying through the Psalms has just opened up a whole new, for me personally, intimacy with God. Audibly praying them out loud, it has just brought a whole new depth to the book of Psalms. So I am very excited about it, and as I said, this is my third month, so hopefully I can keep going.
Okay. What has anything been difficult for you, and if so, what is that?
The challenge of finding time to do 5 Psalms a day, but what I found was once I got into a rhythm with it, I was looking forward to it. Like in the morning, it's like, oh yeah, I get to do 2 Psalms this morning. And then around lunchtime or sometime in the afternoon, it wasn't like a whistle went off at noon and I had to read a Psalms, but I was anxious to get your little book out that you gave us, Pastor Boone, and read my Psalm at noon, and then at night, the other 2 Psalms. So maybe it's a little difficult to kind of get into that groove, and I know it's been said, don't make it like if you don't do it, then skip it and go on, to the next day. But I have not found that to be extremely difficult just because I got into a groove with it and I look forward to it. It's something that I really look forward to. One thing that I did find difficult though was there's a couple Psalms that I do not understand. And in particular, Psalm 88 is very depressing, and that was difficult for me. So other than that, it's all been good.
Okay. Now she referred right to me.
Oh, should I not do that?
Yeah, you're not talking to Pastor Boone.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's all right.
No, don't worry
It's
about
good
it.
to know.
Do we
You might want to redo that. Yeah.
Um,
You might want to mention the book that Pastor Boone gave you, as opposed to the book you gave me.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you.
You're talking to Mr. Interviewer, not Pastor Boone.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I can redo that.
Yeah, just
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember why you mentioned it though now. It was, but,
so I should say Pastor Boone asked me,
Right.
not you, not
Right.
talk
Right.
to, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got it.
yeah.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
So you want me to do that whole part over?
What's been challenging about reading the Psalms every day? Looking at him.
What has been challenging for me about reading the Psalms is finding the time to do it on a regular basis. But once I got into it, I found it very easy, and I looked forward to reading the Psalms. It was like, okay, 2 in the morning and then 1 at noon, and a whistle doesn't go off to tell me it's time to read my Psalm at noon, but I look forward to that. So around lunchtime, it's like, oh yeah, I carry my book in my purse, so I always have it with me. And so I'll do the 3rd one at lunchtime and then 2 more in the evening. I think it can be challenging if you can't get into a rhythm of doing it, but I also know that if I don't get through the 5 Psalms a day, it's not the end of the world. So then the next day I'll just pick up and go to the next day and read from there. What I've found difficult is some of the Psalms I don't understand, just a few, and Psalm 88 is very depressing, and it does not resolve itself, and that really bothered me. But I know there's a purpose for that. So, and I'm sure at some point Pastor Boone is going to talk on Psalm 88 and explain it to us. Just a plug for that, Pastor Boone.
That's great.
It's not good. I don't know. Am I allowed to laugh?
Yes.
Okay.
I like the way you looked at the camera.
That was great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so how has it been a blessing to pray through the Psalms? What's been the highlights for you?
Some of the highlights that I've found as I've prayed through the Psalm is it's been a reminder to me of the character of God. Over and over again, we're reminded that He is our refuge, our strength, our stronghold, our fortress, our tower, how faithful he is to us. His steadfast love endures forever. That phrase is repeated over and over again, but it's a good reminder because sometimes I think we forget that. And just to be reminded of the character of God is always the same, whether it's a good day or a bad day. And the fact that God is my refuge and my strength, that's on a good day and a bad day. So it's all those promises that I'm just reminded of to help me on every day, no matter what my day is. And I've found that to be very helpful and very encouraging.
Awesome.
Am I doing okay?
Great.
You're doing great.
Okay.
What advice do you have for others who are doing this? So you're a couple months ahead of everybody
Right.
else. So what's your advice for them?
My advice to you would be to stick with this because it is going to be a huge blessing to you. And you are going to want, when you finish, you're all probably in the month of April. Most of you have started for the month of April. When you finish the month of April, you're going to want to read it in May. You're going to want to read it in June. You're going to want to read it for the rest of the year. And I'll tell you why, because you don't get it all the first time through. I've had to go back and pray through some of them more than once on the same day, because some of them are really long. And sometimes you're like, oh no, this one has like 50 verses. But just praying through it, and each time you go through it, there's something else that comes out. There's something else that you missed. And that to me has been one of the, like I've been reading the Bible since I've been a little girl. I've read through the Psalms, I don't want to say a million times, but it's been a lot of times. But now that I've had the opportunity to pray through the Psalms, it's taken on a whole new meaning. So my encouragement would be stick with it. On the days when you don't get through them all, don't worry about it. Because next month, maybe you'll pick up where you didn't go through this time. So stick with it. It's worth it.
Now, she did date that one by saying April and May, so
Yeah.
you can
Oh.
make sure, that's okay. Just make sure that's used on the first Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's
Oh, should I take that out? Okay.
No, that's
Okay.
good. Anything else that you'd like to share about this experience?
Well, I know that a lot of the Psalms have been used and put to music, and I love music. So when I'm reading a Psalm, it oftentimes, or praying a Psalm, it oftentimes brings to my mind a song that I've sung in the choir, a song that I've sung in church, and that's really, that's so neat to me, to think that the Scripture has so influenced a lot of the hymn writers, a lot of the praise and worship people that write, and that's just very meaningful to me, to know that a lot of the hymns were, written for that. And when I pray the Psalms, it sort of reminds me of what it's going to be like in heaven, because it's just going to be one big worship, and it's like, okay, this is just a taste of heaven. And it just also just affirms to me God's faithfulness to me, God's, once again, steadfast love for me, and that he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So no matter what I may face, no matter what my circumstance may be, my God is going to be the same. And I can count on that. I can rely on that. And that to me is really amazing.
All right. In
You're doing good, Gene.
yeah, you're doing real good.
Okay, good.
In the very beginning, what was it you said that surprised you? I'm trying to remember. In the very first question I asked.
The difference between reading them and praying them?
Yeah. That
You
was.
want me to say that again?
Yeah, because
Expand on it?
well,
Yeah.
the first time you said it when I said how long you've been doing this, you used the word reading instead of praying.
Right, I
You were
did.
saying I was reading, and then you went and you said.
I know, I get confused. I'm really praying them, I promise you.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking, maybe if we want to redo that.
Okay.
That question.
Sure.
And
Yep,
you can
yep.
say praying.
I
and then
will.
you'll say it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So how long have you been doing this?
Can I ask you a question? Do you mind if I say that you called me in and asked me to
No,
do
that's
this? Or
fine.
do you not want me to do that?
No, that's fine.
Okay,
That's not-
because-
Pastor Boone, though,
Because
Yeah.
he really did, and I was nervous. No, I
It's like
wasn't.
being called into the principal's
I know.
office.
It only happens one time, and then you're fine with it. Yeah.
That's
What
fine.
did I do wrong?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Okay.
so how long have you been doing this, and what surprised you about it?
I have been praying through the Psalms. This will be my third month that I'm going through praying the Psalms. Back at the end of January, Pastor Boone had called me into his office, and I thought, oh no, what did I do? But it really was just a matter of him asking a few people to pray through the Psalms for the month of February, to just get a feel for what that was like and to be able to give some feedback and to be an encouragement to other people. So I took the challenge and I prayed through the Psalms during the month of February. And then I've prayed through the Psalms through the month of March. And so now I'm on my third month of praying through the Psalms. And I'm learning new things every time each month. There's something, it's not like it's boring. It's not like it's, oh gee, now I got to pray through the Psalms again. Praying versus reading, there's a huge difference because you're just audibly praying to God, the words, and there's emotion that comes with that then. There's definitely emotion. I mean, you can pick up your Bible and read, and there is some emotion there. But I feel like when you're actually praying, there's something that comes from your heart that's not there when you're reading. So, and I was surprised each time that I've gone through and prayed all the things that I'm learning, and maybe all the things that I've missed when I read. There's just a difference between praying and reading. So
That's a take.
Good.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
Yeah.